believe the dynamic range of these cameras at lower ISOs is actually very similar. My conclusion on this is that for a micro four thirds camera, the GH4 does an amazing job at lower ISOs. Remember, it only has 1/5 of the real estate when we're talking about the photo sites. The A7S, again, is going to be much better when using higher ISOs. Operational efficiencies is essentially how fast it takes you to change a camera setting and get to shooting. The flippy touchscreen monitor on the GH4 makes general operation very fast and easy to use. The dedicated focus mode button, the ability to change focus on the touchscreen was lightning quick. The A7S has a tilt-only screen, which is nice. I actually like the monitor quality more on the A7S, but having to navigate the menus and the controls with buttons only, especially when changing the position of my focusing square, consistently slowed me down. For operational speed and ease of use, the GH4 wins. A camera body is only as good as the lens on its mount. I bring this up because I consistently ran into this one major problem. At the time of this recording, there were not many great, very wide aperture, native autofocusing lenses for the Sony. The best lens I tested was the 55 1.8. It was amazing. As far as the 24-70 and the 70-200 f4, both solid lenses, I was just expecting a little bit more for their size, their weight, and their cost. I really wish they would have been at least 2.8. There are a handful of affordable third-party lenses, but nearly all of them require manual focusing. True, more native focusing Sony lenses are coming, but if you really like fast lenses that autofocus, with a Sony, your options are going to be limited. On the other hand, there are a huge selection of autofocusing micro four thirds lenses. Even Olympus lenses will autofocus on your GH4. Again, there are tons and tons of third-party manual focusing lenses, but if autofocusing lenses are one of your main concerns, you're going to have more choices with the GH4. There are plenty of different adapters out there that will allow you to use a huge variety of lenses on either system. Just know that in such a setup, most of them require manual focus. I personally like the photo diox on both systems. They're well made, they fit well, they have internal aperture blade sets that can be dialed in, but you're going to get some vignetting on the Sony with it. The cost was about $60 or $70, and I believe it's a quick, affordable way to get any existing lenses you might have onto either camera. There's a company called Metabones that makes some very high-end smart adapters for the Sony. It's supposed to retain autofocus. It just wasn't my experience with the version 3. It didn't really work for me, and at a cost of $400, I returned it because I was still having to manual focus. They have a new one, version 4, that's coming out soon. It's supposed to work much better, but at the time of this recording, it hasn't been released. Metabones also makes a speed booster, which concentrates light coming in from DSLR lenses, resulting in a 1 f-stop increase of light. Now they only have Nikon to micro four thirds, there's no Canon yet. I tested the Canon to Sony, and I also eventually returned it because at $600 for an extra stop of light, on the Sony that already has great low light performance, it just didn't make as much sense to me as it would have on the GH4. My advice here would be to rent an expensive adapter and test it before purchasing it. We're running out of light, so I have to give you my conclusions and recommendations depending on what kind of photographer you are. If you are looking for run and gun videography, if you have a need for internal 4K video, if you want an all-in-one solution, compact, light, easy to travel with, all the bells and whistles for a very affordable price, you are definitely going to want to get the GH4. I'm calling it the all-round winner for this shootout, and I think we are looking at the 2014 Camera of the Year. It is that good. In fact, during this epic shootout, I actually decided to get a second GH4 simply because we want to shoot in 4K. I was that impressed with it, and it was that useful. When I went shooting at the zoo, it was always the first camera I would grab. It was easy to set up. I love the touchscreen monitor. Very quick to get these run and gun type shots. Now, before you all run out and buy a GH4, there